Hi, my name is Jamie Fortier and I want to share a little bit my final presentation, creating presentations for the virtual world, and why I think doing different modes of communication are what are going to get our students to apply for scholarships. We want to get into the classrooms and talk to the students, but that's not always reasonable to expect faculty members to let us in, take class time to talk about a very important thing, free money. That'd be a phrase that students would want to hear and would engage them in coming and listening, or maybe listening to the presentation online on how to get free money. We've created flyers that we post around campus. An example, this Free Money Fridays, where we're offering help for students to apply for scholarships. How can we get students to come to events like these? Again, posting flyers around campus doesn't seem to be working, so what other ways that we can reach out to students and show them what we have available and how we can help them apply for scholarships? We need to be using things like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and those modes of communication to let students know what we have to offer and how we can help. And then by using a product that I enjoyed called Camtasia, to be able to create presentations and post them to another social site like YouTube. We want students engaging with us. We want them having conversations with us and excited about the presentations that we're making. We're moving into a web-based world where students really want us to go to them. By doing a presentation in a product such as Camtasia, we'll be able to reach out to those students when they're available and when they're ready. They can listen to our videos at any time of the day, whether it be night owls that like to stay up at 2 a.m. or if it's early risers that like to get up at 5 a.m. Students are able to view these videos and complete the application to the best of their ability when they're available to. So as I was thinking about how I could make these presentations to the students, making them engaged and understand that we need to come to them and be there for them. So creating the presentations that don't make them fall asleep or put their heads down, that make them want to listen and engage in the conversations that you're having. Part of the inspiration that came from my class was that we really want to do some storytelling and sharing stories with them and our experiences and have a little bit of interaction with them so that they can relate to the presentation and be comfortable completing their scholarship application. So how do we get that audience engagement, and how do we get our students to participate with the presentation as the presentation's being made? Some of that could be through a poll, some of that could be just by sharing personal stories and asking questions and having them relate as to how they feel this information could be beneficial to them. Part of what I think could help with creating presentations that'll attract students is inserting video clips, things that entertain them, make them laugh perhaps. The other part would be being relatable to them. Here's an example of how I would utilize Camtasia, doing short clips of information so that students are able to read through and utilize the information as they need it. So part of the scholarship application, the students do need to request references. So on the application, I would show here, you need to make sure that you're asking for the name and email address of the person that you want to get a reference from. Please remember, students, that to be eligible for scholarships, you do need to get a reference from a core program instructor. So if you're in the automotive program, you do need to be sure that you're getting a reference from an automotive instructor. It cannot come from a general education instructor. It does need to come from a core program instructor. Again, as an example, an automotive instructor. We really want to be sure that the person that you're requesting the reference from receives this scholarship application, scholarship reference. So in order to receive this reference, you're going to be putting in the person's email address. Now before you put in the email address, just like for your scholarships or like when you're applying for a job, you need to ask the individual who you're going to be putting the name down for a reference, ask them if they would be willing to be a reference for you. So I would go up to Miss Johnson, my automotive instructor, and I would say, hey, Mr. Johnson, I'm applying for scholarships. Would you be willing to be a reference for me? And my hope is that Mr. Johnson is going to say yes. You're going to ask for Mr. Johnson's email address, and then you'll be able to put that into the scholarship application. So on this application, it says name and email address. I'm going to click on add a new reference, and in this box I will put the name, so I would put Mr. Johnson. In this box, I'm going to put the email address of the individual that I want to ask the reference of. So again, here it's very important that you have the correct email address. If you don't put the correct email address, the person that you're asking of the reference will never receive the email to complete the reference for you. The second point that I'd like to make regarding references is the second one is not required but strongly encouraged. But you could get the second reference from a past or present employer, somebody you do volunteer work with. I've also received references from pastors, 4-H leaders, advisors, and coaches. But please be sure that you're not getting references, as we do not accept references from family members, friends, classmates, or co-workers. If you're looking at getting a reference from somebody you work with, please be sure it's a supervisor, not a co-worker. And in the second reference, it works the same way, in that you're going to click on add new reference, put that name and email in, and there you'll be able to receive your 2 references. And please remember again, before you're putting the reference in, you want to be sure to ask. When I'm having students utilize me as a reference, I actually require them to give me their resume and the job description of the job that they're applying for. That allows me to give that individual the best reference I can. I'm going to be able to tailor the reference to the skills that they have to the job that they're applying for. I hope this helps you select references that you feel will put the best you forward, and that you're going to select references that are going to give you the best score and the best answers possible as to why you're going to school at Western, and by the degree that you want to receive, how you're going to do well in that job force. That would be just an example of one way I would utilize Camtasia to do a brief presentation on a part of the scholarship application that students may have questions on. We would be able to post this brief video to YouTube, maybe to Facebook, or even on our website, and have specific frequently asked questions with these videos. I hope you're able to utilize some of the tips that I've shared